Hey guys, welcome to another Normal Gays video where we take on LGBT insanity. We have more kind of somber, serious crap to talk about today, but we wanted to hop on and make a video because there's all this breaking news about more details about the person that seems to have killed Charlie Kirk, allegedly, including a potential trans connection. Can you guess how you feel like, is this discourse being sane and stable or?
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling this is like worst case scenario for the trans community, low key, because it's like, I saw the news and I was just like, ugh, another one.
Yeah, especially recently, there's been a number of these high profile incidents. And long term, if you look at the data, they're not really overrepresented, but as of late, there's been a lot of this. Now we have this report from Fox News. Let's take a look at this clip.
A Fox News alert. FBI sources tell Fox News Digital that the man charged with assassinating Charlie Kirk was living with a transgender partner. Bureau officials confirmed that Tyler Robinson was in a romantic relationship with someone transitioning from male to female. They say that individual is fully cooperating with their investigation, claims to have had no idea of Robinson's plans, and is not currently accused of any criminal activity.
So there's a couple layers to this.
Yeah.
The first thought that I have is that we already had kind of debunked this because the Utah governor came out and said, no, we have evidence this person was left wing. Pretty unlikely to be a MAGA person in a relationship with a trans person. So a lot of liberals and progressives have been coping really hard and trying to say that this was a MAGA person.
Or like a groiper.
Or like an alt-right person.
I saw a lot of TikToks about that.
Seems unlikely. Though if it was a groiper, I could actually see it.
Yeah.
Low-key.
We know that they like...
they're...
whatever, they're dolls. We'll just say they like the dolls.
And allegations concerning cat boys have been made.
Yes.
Anyway, but more seriously, everyone is immediately jumping to look, more trans violence or whatever. Yeah. But from the details that we have, it seems like this person actually helped the FBI arrest Robinson. So let me read you this. FBI officials told Fox News Digital that the FBI had text messages and other communications between Robinson and his partner that helped FBI agents zero in on Robinson. Officials said the FBI took evidence from their apartment, including computers, which has been sent to Quantico for review. So maybe they took that without, just took that from his phone.
Yeah.
But they said this person is cooperating and isn't suspected of a crime. So it almost, I don't know.
It's irresponsible to place blame on an innocent person by law. I think that you can look at the situation and think, okay, this kid looks like he looks like he's like a Redditor that was radicalized.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
The memes on the bullets, everything. And we should have
didn't he have like an ooh thing? Yeah.
It's like a furry thing.
I know, but it's like, what is that? It's talking about a bulge because
it's like a
trans person.
Trans furry thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can deduce that maybe his proximity to somebody who's directly affected by a lot of Charlie's rhetoric, maybe he was already radicalized, and then since that was in his life, that made him even more radicalized, but it's just irresponsible to say anything concrete.
Well, we should stress that this report is just breaking, and something else could come out. It's not confirmed. Things move fast, so don't take any of this as gospel. And then the other piece of it is Charlie was actually shot while answering a question where he was talking about trans people being dangerous. I mean, basically, because he was talking about but that has to be a coincidence to me.
I don't think,
because
it's 200 yards away.
Yeah, the idea that the shooter could have timed the shot, I think that's probably a coincidence.
No.
Certainly.
Yeah.
But it is a strange twist.
Yeah. I mean, it all just kind of points in that direction. And unfortunately, this friend, as of now, is innocent and is going to get a lot of the blame placed on them.
I think it's a trans woman.
I don't know. I just know that if I was in that situation and one of my friends was radicalized and I was going through this, I would hope that people would look at me and wait for things to come out.
Yeah, wait. Maybe this person is complicit in some way, but don't assume so until there's evidence, because everyone should have the assumption of innocence before they're assumed guilty. And so far, the FBI has not said that they're even suspected of any crimes. But of course, you have commentators immediately leaping on this.
Well, they've been waiting for it. It's a smoking gun for them.
They were saying...
It's clicks, like they're going to get a bunch. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, they were saying that this, before there was even any reason to believe there was anything, they were already saying this.
Yeah.
So I'll read you a couple tweets here from Laura Loomer, the MAGA influencer, but not just her, others as well. So Matt Walsh recircled an old tweet warning that trans people were going to become dangerous and said, 2 weeks after I tweeted this, Charlie Kirk was murdered by a deranged LGBT extremist with a trans boyfriend. When I say that these people are very dangerous, it's not fear-mongering, it's the truth. Now I say again, it will get worse. We must take this threat seriously. I mean, I kind of have an issue with this because, one, we talked about it, the individual involved here is not even necessarily known to have done anything wrong. But two,
Right.
even if there was like a trans co-conspirator and they specifically targeted Charlie because of trans politics, that would be horrific, but it would still only be on them. Like, that doesn't tell us...
trans people.
Yeah, it doesn't tell us anything about Blair White. Like, it doesn't tell us anything about just a random trans person. There's a collectivization of blame and guilt here that I'm just not on board with.
Well, if we're going to place blame on anything, we should be placing blame on algorithms and radicalized youth. And if Matt Walsh really wants to have that conversation, we should talk about his content and how it has the capability of radicalizing people in the other direction, which is just as dangerous. And until commentators start to realize that they're contributing to this vitriol that turns into violence, I don't think we're going to actually solve a problem.
No, more examples here. Jamie Michelle of Gays Against Groomers tweeted, "Stop trans terrorism," and then some images of like this militant trans propaganda.
What does that say?
One of them says "Die cis scum," and the other one says "Nothing short of total war on transphobes." So here's my problem with this. Two things can be true at the same time. There is definitely a piece of like the trans community and the trans activists that are militant and violent and scary. They have threatened me. They have sent me the nastiest messages in the world.
Unstable entirely.
Very crazy. And we can acknowledge that and talk about that without saying like they're all like that or that this whole category of people is responsible for those people.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I think that there is a conversation that needs to be had about people who have comorbidities that get prescribed things like testosterone that only makes you more, because like, I mean, I've been on it, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think that there's a very strong faction of that community that tends to be very young and online, that they're not just like, oh, I've got haters in my comment section. Like, they're the types that are like, they're sending death threats.
They'll find your address.
Like when I say something about conservatives, I'll get death threats every once in a while. But when you say anything about that specific community, you can guarantee they're coming in. So there is something to be said about that faction being a lot bigger in this community, but I don't think it's fair to blame the whole community.
It's just weird for me because I've been calling out trans radicalism for years, but now I find myself being like, wait, guys, hold on, because they're just blaming all trans people.
Right.
Or they're just saying, and that's so against my values of individualism and of personal responsibility. So let me read you some tweets from Laura Loomer. "Intolerance keeps you safe. I now have zero tolerance for anything trans, and so should our country," directly because of this. She also wrote, "Trans people are a national security threat. Their movement needs to be classified as a terrorist organization immediately.
Oh my God.
Trans people are a threat to society. We can't allow them to continue killing people. They need to be socially ostracized, and the president should make medical transitioning illegal in our country." So like, this is unhinged.
This is playing right into the fascist allegations.
Yeah, I mean, with her, they're not allegations.
They're not allegations. This is like when they said they're going to put us in camps and we all were like, ha ha, you're so crazy. It's like, Laura, shut the fuck up. You're literally, you're doing it. You're doing the thing.
And it's just crazy to get from, even if you count the other instances that have involved a trans person, you're talking about 5 or 6 atrocities in a population of millions of people.
Yeah.
Even
data doesn't support it.
But even if it did, even if they say that they were 3 times more likely to do an atrocity than anyone else, that still doesn't tell you anything about 99.9% of them who will never do an atrocity.
Yeah, because if we have that conversation, we'd have to have it about a bunch of other minorities.
About men.
Yeah, about men, about like everyone, because you just can't place blame on a free individual with their own choices for somebody else's actions.
So honestly, I was really hoping that I will always follow the facts where they lead and just discuss them openly and honestly. And in this case, that means talking about apparently a trans connection, though you can't take it as far as they're taking it. But I was hoping that there wouldn't be one for this, because this is just the last thing this discourse needs is more emotion, tragedy, and
clickbait. Like, I mean, of all things, I bet you these commentators are salivating at their mouth when they saw this news, because they know all
that
they have to do
sell.
is I mean,
I just feel bad for trans people who are not like that and get caught up in it.
Yeah.
I will say the leaders and activists could do a lot more to denounce the crazy fringe, but a lot of them do low-key at least partially sympathize with it. So it is a gatekeeping issue, but it's like crazy. Like we're kind of lumped in with this.
Yeah, I think that I do think that gay people have done, specifically gay conservatives, have done a very good job at separating themselves, because I feel like if they didn't have such a loud voice over the last 3 to 4 years, that party would just radicalize against not just trans people, but gay people. But now I feel like trans people, normal trans, maybe make your own show, they need to get a lot more vocal.
Yeah.
A lot more vocal.
I just feel bad for them. My friend Brianna Wu, let me show you her tweet. I just feel bad for her because she's a Democrat, but she's like a fairly normal person.
Yeah.
5 hours ago, she tweeted pictures of herself happy with her husband. I'm a trans woman. I'm not violent. I don't like guns. I have a job. I've been married monogamously for 17 years and I love our country. Please don't hurt me. I have nothing to do with this atrocity. Like, that is really sad.
Yeah. That's like,
that's
not
so
even like,
sad.
let me present this argument. It's like, please stop.
Like, she's literally worried. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah.
This is horrible. This whole discourse. It's just like, people need to remember that we should all look at our fellow citizens as individuals. And the same way that if you a few years back had met your neighbor and they were like, oh, I'm Catholic, it would have been wrong to assume some type of way about, oh, I better not let my kids around them.
I didn't know if you were going to go there.
I'm going there, but my point is that to not do that.
Yeah.
Because again, that's just some people. And there was a systemic issue there with the higher ups of the church. But the point there is that... But
they don't talk about that.
Well, they certainly... It's not a flashpoint. Yeah, no.
Anyway, sorry.
But no, it's the same principle. It's like, we have to treat each other as individuals, and collective demonization is always wrong and dangerous.
There's a lot more that goes into somebody committing a crime than their identity.
Yeah.
A lot more.
My big takeaway is actually like, the young men in your life, do everything you can do to get them to spend less time on social media, less time on the internet.
Give them a purpose.
Other than watching us on YouTube, of course.
Tell them to go run some laps.
Hobbies, friends, jobs, real life connections, because both far left and far right, there's these internet fringes where you can get radicalized, and then they're fucking writing ooh on bullets. Like, we're laughing, and I'm sorry, this is a very somber subject.
No, it's not.
We've both talked about how freaking terrible this situation is, how much our heart goes out to Charlie's family and everyone, but like, this is getting out of control, the whole discourse.
Mm-hmm. And young men need to get it together.
And we also need to help them. I mean, the ones in our lives, at least. Like, I'm concerned about it, but you guys let us know what you think. We did want to discuss this. It is a big story, but we want to acknowledge the nuance that goes with it as well. So let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll be back with more Normal Gays content real soon.